lot of people that, like those who came here early, they buy land.
But it is a reflection of the journey, a tapestry of stories and perspectives that live at the crossroad, at the intersection of art and identity, culture and memory, manhood and resilience. This is not just art as an expression, it's a testimony. Tonight we don't just honor the artists, we honor the bond between them.
It's been exciting from day one. This has probably been one of the greatest days of my life as an artist, to see people that I've been touching base with, I've never met in person, to walk in and feel like we have this to be.
This is a really special place. And I think I've never had a chance, I've come to shows here, but I've never had a chance to experience it at this level. So this place is something special. So if you can support, please do. Thank you.
So it cannot be overstated how much Chop Shop means to myself as an individual, as to the group. Over a 5-year period, aside from the camaraderie, the support, the fellowship that I got out of the group, within my personal life, I was going through quite a bit. I was transitioning as an artist as well as a human being. And all of these works were produced during that time. And so the very first thing was that I had split with the mother of my children, which kind of wrecked my world, right? I had to figure out what's going to happen with the children in the house and this and that sort of stuff. And so when I did this piece, it's a self-portrait of myself, and as you can see, it's very fragmented. And it's made of all these separate blocks, and conceptually, as I'm creating this piece, it's sort of, okay, how do I piece myself back together as a person, and perhaps make myself even better than what I was before. So that was the first step. At some point, and this is again still during the time of CHOP, I had a second will. One night while working on artwork, I got a phone call from the police, and they said that my mother disappeared. And I had a very scary 24 hours where we located her about 40 miles away. She was behind the wheel. Thank God she didn't crash or anything like that. But that began a very long 2 years where we discovered she had a very large brain tumor. And she had upwards of three surgeries. She lost her eyesight in her eye, lost a lot of her independence, and she had to come and live with me. And so this piece is reflective of my mother, and again of a similar theme where broken apart, how does she piece herself back together? And actually, directly out of a conversation in Chop Shop, where we were discussing each other's work, Beresford had reminded us of the concept, I believe it is called kinsiguri, which is in Japanese pottery. When they have an object that breaks, they put it back together and fill in the cracks with gold and gold leaf. And the belief is that the imperfections of the object adds to its story and adds to its beauty. And once it is repaired, it is even more beautiful than when it started. And I thought that that was such a great parallel and a way to honor my mother. And so that's where that piece came from.
Can you demonstrate how these pieces can become different iterations
Sure.
of the same narrative?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Can you show them how these paintings represent not just what you're talking about, but how literally you can keep reconfiguring yourself?
Sure.
About these images.
So it took a lot to figure that out, because originally these blocks sort of like stacked on top of each other, but they are modular, which means that if I wanted to, I can completely reconfigure the image. And so every time this image is shown at a new show, or there's a new feeling or a new sentiment, or I'm in a new place in my life, I might reconfigure it to reflect that.
Which is what you did. You came in, the show was on beautifully, and I wasn't here, but I was told, and I was tickled about it, that Mays walked in, saw his pieces, and immediately just remade himself and his mother for this space of what was happening in his life right now, which is a beautiful metaphor.
It's awesome.
The final thing that I do want to point out is that this was the last of these three pieces. There's more in the series, but given what's going on in this country, I myself, my name is Miguel Torres. In my neighborhood where I live in Queens, New York, it's a melting pot. We have everybody from all over the world. And this gentleman works a food cart that's right down the street from me. He comes from Bangladesh. His name is Ayub. And I thought as I was speaking to him, and he was super, super friendly, I wanted an opportunity to change the narrative about the immigrant population that comes to this country to work hard and try to make a life for their families back home. And here I was engaging with this man who was working hard, creating delicious food at a reasonable price that I could afford to feed my family. And I asked him, because he was just so genuine, I said, hey, do you mind if I paint a portrait of you? You know, I'm an artist. And he acted like he won the lotto. Like, he was just like, me? You want to paint a picture of me? And it was such this touching moment that I had with him. And so I thought, what better way to honor how he contributes to the community, but doing a painting of him. So thank you, everybody.